Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. We're so happy to have you back with us for this week's Explore Tulsa. Now, Stevie, did you think you ever wanted to be a pilot?
I think all guys want to be a pilot when they're growing up. I even had one of those planes that you'd fly around in circles on a string.
Oh yeah? How'd that work out for you?
I'd get kind of sick from going around in circles. I decided I wasn't cut out to be a pilot.
Well, a safe place for you to get a great flight experience has to be the Tulsa Air and Space Museum, where you'll find all sorts of interesting aircraft to explore, including their newest exhibition of American Airlines MD-80.
So many people out there have never been on an airplane before. And when you think about it, you go out to the airport, you get out of your car, you go in the terminal, then you go through security, and you go on down and you get into the one of the ends of the airport, then you go through a jetway, and and you go out into the airplane, you go through a little tiny door, you go inside and sit down. You really aren't sure what you're in. And most people have not been able to grasp the size of some of these airplanes. I mean, MD-80 is small compared to some of the other monsters that are out there. But we thought, wouldn't this be great? We could use it as an educational tool to bring kids in here and let people know what an airplane looks like. How often? You just don't get an opportunity to get up this close with an airplane. Carmine Romano, who was at the time the head of all the American Airlines maintenance, was on our board with another gentleman, and the comment was made just casually about, you know, we're going to be phasing out our MD-80s over the next several years, and would you guys even be interested in one? And of course we jumped right up and said, oh yeah, that would be terrific. We were a bunch of little kids. I mean, somebody just said, hey, we're going to give you this. Oh my God, now what do we do?
The way we envision it is we have folks that come to the museum, and it'll be another attraction just like the planetarium is.
What we had to do is we had to tow the aircraft over from a hangar where we were doing some preliminary work on it, and with American Airlines. These people are wonderful, American are wonderful. And we towed the airplane around down here just outside our main gate, and we had this monster gigantic crane that lifted up the aircraft, took it over and put it on the other side of the fence. Then they had to come in with the crane again and lift it once again to mount it on the big concrete posts that you see below it.
You know, the possibilities are endless. Do you put interactive exhibits in there for the kids, or do you turn it into a flight theater? No one's ever done that before, so that's the direction that they wanted to go. So the folks will come into this MD-80. There's going to be a bulkhead with a curtain located at the aft section of the first class theater, where the theater is going to be. And our volunteers are going to be the ones that are going to be leading the flight theater. They'll bring folks in, they'll talk about the aircraft a little bit, they'll pull the curtain back, bring the folks into the flight theater, the first class section, 24 seats. They'll set them down, and they'll push a button that'll be on the wall that will dim the lights and start the production. We have planned several productions. The first production is called The Flight Experience. And we've hired a company that have actually written the script for the first production. But it starts out with you hear the tower, a pilot, flight attendants, and then you start to see some ghostly figures up front on the front screen. The screens wrap all the way around, and they start talking, and then all of a sudden you're in an aircraft taxiing down the runway about to take off. And what it's going to feel like to the folks that are in the theater is like you've peeled off or melted away the top half of the aircraft. It's like being in a convertible airplane. Towards the end of the production, there'll be a bad thunderstorm, and we'll have to do, it's kind of a fantasy deal. We'll have to do an evasive maneuver where the aircraft thrusters come on and it shoots up into the stratosphere, and then you can see the curvature of the earth and stuff. And once we get the full up production and get a lot of movement in the audio, it'll blow their minds. Like I said, it's a state-of-the-art, one-of-a-kind. The projection system that we're putting in here are laser LED Casio projectors, and there'll be 15 of them. And they're all stitched together, so you're going to have a screen that it is 270 degrees.
It's going to be one of those iconic symbols, I think, of the museum in the future.